Hello everyone, my name is Samuel Alderete. I'm one of you future church planners here in Calvary, Rosarito, and I want to welcome you to today's good news. So we're continuing our study in the book of Proverbs, so what we like to call Proverbs Greatest Hits, where we look at a chapter daily and we select a verse or two, we study it and see how we can apply it into our lives. And in today's verse that we're going to be looking at in Proverbs chapter 28, we're going to see King Solomon warn us that if we turn away from hearing the law, our prayers is an abomination towards God. Yes, seriously, an abomination. And when I think about this, it reminds me of the story of the young boy named Mike, who called the pastor of his local church named Juan Carlos to come pray for his sick mother, who had been very ill with the flu. But the pastor, Juan Carlos, knew that they had Mike and his family were going to church with Pastor Jesus, who lived down the street. So when Pastor Juan Carlos had went to their house to pray for his mom, he asked little Mike, "Hey, shouldn't Pastor Jesus be the one who's here praying for your mom?" And Mike looked at him and said, "Yeah, but we didn't just want to have him take the chance and catch what mom had." What can I say, church? What can I say? Hey, church, we're in Proverbs 28 today. We're in Proverbs 28, verse 9. Proverbs 28, verse 9 says, "One who turns his ear away from hearing the law, even his prayer is an abomination." Let me read that to you one more time. One who turns away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer is an abomination. So we see here that King Solomon is warning us that if we turn away from hearing the law, our prayer is an abomination, is useless, is meaningless. But what law is he talking about? Look at here, Jesus, how he says here in Matthew 22, verses 37 through 29, which says, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind." This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. So you see here, the Lord is warning us that we don't follow this. He's going to reject the prayers of those who don't listen to him and don't follow him submissively. In fact, he's going to say to those prayers of those people who don't follow this law that Jesus gave us an abomination. In other words, it's a thing that causes disgust or hatred or a feeling of hatred. He's very serious here about your attitude toward prayer. Imagine your prayer being an abomination towards God. While you beg him for blessing and favor and help in your life, he just despises, he loathes, he finds your prayer meaningless and disgust because you're not following those laws that Jesus has given us. He loathes your efforts and your words. Your prayers nauseate him. It's one thing if a person in your life for some reason hates your prayer, which, it happens. But imagine if God finds your prayers an abomination and he hates your prayers. Imagine that. But church, I have encouraging news for you this morning and in this day. Your prayers do not have to be an abomination towards God. Let me repeat that. Your prayers do not have to be an abomination towards God. How so? Well, remember, how do we apply that in our own lives? Make sure that all your prayers glorify God. That all you're praying, from whenever you pray in the morning to the evening, it's something that will glorify God. From your health for your family, for your friends, your economy, your finances, salvation for people that you know that don't know of Jesus. Imitate Christ. Have that mindset of when you're praying. Not only do you do that, but you also walk like Christ and talk like Christ. And when you're doing that, you're glorifying God. You're giving an example of what it means to be someone who loves their Lord, their God, with everything they got, and loving your neighbor as yourself, because you're imitating the mind of Christ. Not only in your daily walk, but in your mindset when you're praying unto Christ as well. And lastly, two last things is he will hear your prayers, church. It'll be a yes, or it'll be a no, or it'll be a wait. He will hear them, church. He'll either give you a yes, definitely what you're praying for is going to happen. He'll give you a no, because that's not what he wants for you. Or thirdly, he'll give you a wait. Why? Because he has something better for you. When you pray, remember that. And lastly, if we follow these two things, loving our Lord your God with everything we have, our mind, our soul, our strength, everything, not only in our church, in our home, in our life, but also loving your neighbor, that showing the same love that God has showed you, showing him to others as well, whether it be family in the faith or people that you know who don't believe in Jesus. you will see and you will notice that your prayer are not going to be an abomination towards God. And church, that is good news for you and I to remember today. God bless you, everyone. And that is today's good news.